All right, good morning, everyone. Having one of those mornings, just having a real hard time getting started. So this is probably going to get posted a little bit late. I apologize for that. Um, Welcome to Saturday. Hope you are all safe and warm with the storms going across the nation. A lot of bad weather in a lot of places, deeply impacted the attendance at some of these games, but that's what you get in mid January. All right, first game we're going to talk about the first meeting ever between the Danbury Hat-Tricks and the Blue Ridge Bobcats, and it is a Bobcat victory. 5-3. Shots pretty even, although okay, shots are 15 aside in the first. Second period, it's 15-8 in favor of the Bobcats, and then 18-10 for the Hat-Tricks in the third as they tried to ramp things up. Couldn't get the puck past Hunter Verostic enough times to pull out a win. Verostic saves 38-41. McCollum made 35 saves for the Hat-Tricks. Justin Vernacci, he's Vernace. I'm sorry. I've terrible. My apologies, Justin. Scores at 10:53 for the third in the third period for the game-winning goal. So yeah, it was Daniel Klinecki getting a couple goals. Nick McHugh had a couple of assists, and Devin Sanders a goal and an assist. Yeah, 7-Eleven on hand. The roads were not good in the Wytheville area. If you've never been to Wytheville, you're right at the base of the Appalachian Mountains. So, yeah, weather can get pretty nasty there. For the hat tricks, Trace Harwell and Johnny Ruiz scored, as well as Gleb Ben Durkin. But yeah, the hat tricks now 11-9-5, kind of in the middle of the pack in the Empire Division. In the Continental Division, the Blue Ridge Bobcats help their situation. They go to 13-9-3. The other game, we're celebrating the second coming of Kyle Powell. And yeah, maybe partially rejuvenated from Watertown's native son, even though he's a Canadian. Coming back to the Wolves roll out a 4-1 win over HC Venom, not Hudson Valley Venom, HC Venom. I keep telling myself that. All right, Elwha Bouchard gets a second start in a row and saves 39-40. John Moriarty, he's gotten the lion's share of work for the Venom. He stops 37 of 41. Trevor Lord scoring the game-winning goal, 18:55 on a shorty in the first period. Lord ended up with a goal and 2 assists. Kyle Powell ended up scoring the third goal. So that was a nice little exclamation point on his return back to Watertown, where he played a number of years. And that's really where he solidified his status as one of the better defensive men in FPHL history. So even though he's played in other places, Watertown was really his home. So Marian Pizitka, he scores for the Venom, which was nice to see. Pizitka was finally able to sign with the club. He had to take care of some personal matters before he was able to sign, and he gets on the board, so that was good to see. The shots were 20-9 in favor of the Venom in the first period, but then the Wolves turned that around in the second period, 21-9 in their favor. Yeah, so that's what happened there. Let us change boards. All right, so next, this I was touting this on previews and predictions as the matchup of the weekend, and yeah, Columbus just dominated in their all whites. Still need some striping on the pants. Yeah, otherwise the unis look pretty clean and fresh, but yeah, you uh, need some striping on the pants. It helps the look. Anyway, Columbus ends up winning 5-2, and they climb to the top of the Continental Division. So for in the last 3 weeks, we have had 3 different leaders in the Continental Division now. Now, will that change after tonight's matchup again? Rematch? We don't know. We'll find out and see. I just realized I am a little off center here. There we go. Okay, so we started off the first period, and there was a disallowed goal right off the bat on a hand pass. If there was one, I don't know. But Columbus denied a goal. So then Gordon Whalen ends up scoring for the Thunderbirds at 18:30, making it a 1-0 game for the Thunderbirds. Um, First period, it was just the one goal, and shots were 11-8 in favor of the Thunderbirds. After that, it was all Columbus. They rattled off 5 unanswered goals. Justin McDonald getting on the board at 2:48. 3:14, just shortly thereafter, it's Alex Storjahan, 4:42. It's Chwetten Blacksmith getting a power play goal. Boy, he looked re-energized. As if Blackwell needs to get re-energized. We saw what he could do with the Wolves. He's continuing his great play with the River Dragons. 10-13 of the third period. I'm sorry, actually, that goal by Blacksmith, that was in the third period. So it wasn't the 3 goals, bam, 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 but 2 quick goals, and then Blacksmith a period later on the power play. Kyle Moore scores from his knees at the 10-13 mark. It is crazy. I don't know how he did it. But anyway, Blacksmith scores again a minute and a half later. He was really fired up. And then at the end of the game, shorthanded situation, Jan Salak kind of, he puts a little spin on the game for the Thunderbirds. It's like, well, we're not out of it. The Thunderbirds, very shorthanded. You still have Pastuca out. You have Gus Ford. He's back, but not playing 100%. Peter Panachik is out. A lot of offense missing from the Thunderbird lineup. Roman Kramer is on IR. So, the River Dragons took full advantage. They go in, they take care of business, they win 5-2. They improve to 17-5-3, which is 1 win better than the Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds having a game in hand, which they will make up on Sunday. So that could also factor into the top of the standings in the Continental Division. Crowd of 28-45. Thankfully, the weather wasn't too bad in Columbus, but it was very cold, very rainy. A lot of people just didn't want to venture out after the storm had gone through. So, so Jan Salak with the shorty. Cavallari, not his best night. Stops 22 of 27. But of course, he just didn't have the goal support. The Thunderbirds kind of hobbling along right now, facing some adversity, but I think they'll manage it just fine. For the River Dragons, Alex Storjahan, a goal and 2 assists. You had Justin McDonald, goal and assist, 2 goals from Chwetten Blacksmith. And, of course, Sammy Bernard in goal for the River Dragons. He stops 28 of 30 and makes his numbers look even a little bit nicer. He's already got nice numbers, but there you go. So the Binghamton Black Bears, they travel to Motor City, take on the Rockers. And the last time these two teams met in Binghamton a few weeks ago, it was a 4-2 win by the Binghamton Black Bears. Deja vu all over again. It was a quick 3-0 lead taken by the Black Bears in the first period as they get goals from Jesse Anderson, from Dakota Bond, and from CJ Stubbs. Stubbs' goal was shorthanded. That is now the 10th shorty that the Black Bears have scored this year. So their penalty kill, not only is their penalty kill doing really, really well, they're also scoring shorties. Now, in the second period, TJ Sneath did score on a power play goal, so that was very rare. That was only the 13th shorthanded goal the 13th goal being shorthanded that Binghamton gave up all year. TJ Sneath on a tip And this is where things get very interesting for the game, and add a little bit of a dramatic flair to it. It looked like the Sneath had batted in the puck on a high stick. Um, it looked like it was well above the crossbar for me. But anyway, the Binghamton Black Bears challenged the call. They lost that challenge as the officials came back and said, goal's fine. So they get 2 minutes. Coach Sherwood gets upset, says some maybe not so nice things, gets the boot from the game. So now the Black Bears are down five, uh, 2 men, down 5-3, but they killed off the ensuing 5-on-3 power play. In the third period, it is Cameron Cerrone scoring at 2:49. And just to make things kind of interesting, kind of fun, Jameson Milan scores again on the power play. So, first time in a long time, Binghamton's given up 2 power play goals. 13-21. Evidently, Coach Sherwood was in the stands, as he was not able to be on the bench and was kind of coaching from the stands. So this could have some implications. What kind of ruling, if you will, comes against Grant Sherwood? Obviously, he had a 4-game suspension earlier this year. This could really change the dynamic for the Black Bears moving forward. So anyway, for this game, CJ Stubbs, a goal and assist, 2 assists by league leading scorer Tyson Kirkby. Jameson Milan, a goal and assist, and Matthias Tellstrom had 2 assists on the night. Trevor Babin looked very uncomfortable in the first period, and then it looked like he settled in. It looked like he just needed a period to kind of get his bearings again. Saves 42 of 46. But unfortunately, the Dark Knight doesn't have superpowers. You DC fans, you know that. So Connor McAnanima stops 23 of 25, and Binghamton improves to 22-4-1. Motor City is now 11-14-1. Attendance 510. Again, another location where weather was not good. Okay, down south, the surprise of the night. And this is, it was a surprise. Mississippi, they end up beating the Moccasins 6-4. And the observation that I made with this game is with Mississippi and their struggles in the past, they just seemed to, even if they were competitive for a period of time, for a set period in the game, they never seemed to be in control of a game, of an entire game, until last night. Mississippi controlled this game. They really held off the Moccasins. Moccasins obvious advantage with shots, but a lot of those were more perimeter shots, shots from the outside, shots that Ed Coffey was able to see. And yes, he did surrender 4 goals, but Mississippi would always seem to be just one step ahead last night. So anyway, yeah, Mississippi, this was a convincing win. In spite of their record, in spite of how things have gone so far, this was a convincing win by Mississippi. This is the first time that I've watched Mississippi this year where I've said they could do something. And so we will see. We'll wait and see. They officially reached the halfway point now. They are 5-20-3. So they've played the most games of anybody in the league so far. Tied with Baton Rouge. So again, we'll see what happens. I had the attendance number. It was 41 something. I failed to write it down. It was over 4,100 in the Monroe Civic Center. Anyway, first period, it's Corey Cunningham scoring almost immediately, 142, and then Mississippi said, "That's it. That's as far as we're going to let you go." Brad Richardson scores on a power play, and then Curtis Hanson scores 2.5 minutes later. So it's 2-1 Mississippi. And even though they had a little letdown at the end of the first. At release again, it seemed like they had control of this game, despite giving up a lot of shots. Blake Anderson ties things up for the Moccasins at 14-11. Hey, we have a Rex Mo sighting. He scored on the power play at uh, at 16:41. So it's 3-2 Moccasins at the end of one. Shots were 18-6. But again, overall, I saw Mississippi play this game like they had it. They were confident they could win. Um, it was Ross Bartlett getting his first goal as a SeaWolf in the second at 6:18, and at 12:20, Brendan Hussey scores on the power play. Yeah, two power play goals by both teams. So yeah, special teams kind of factored in. In the third period, no, we're still in the second. It's Bayou Ben doing it again. Stefanini scores at 17:10 to tie things up. Shots at the end of two are 39-14, but Mississippi's still hanging in there. Puck battles along the board, they were playing much better. And then the third period belonged to Chuck Costello. He gets the game winner at 9:45 of the third period, and then adds an empty net goal as well at 18:45, 6-4 in favor of the Seawolves. Final shots 49-20. Ed Coffey getting the win. Sean Kuhn, a rough night for him, stopping 14-19 in 59-28 played. So yeah, I can say Coffey creams the Moccasins. Mm. Okay, final game of the night. It is taking nothing away from Port Huron. They came in with a mission and a job to do, and they did it. But this was painful to watch. This was really, really painful to watch. In goal for the Dashers is Travis Ridgen's APHL backup, Tristan Cantor. And not a good result. Later on, Eli Bowers would come in. Eli Bowers was signed on Friday. So yeah, first period, only the two goals scored by the Prowlers. It's Alex Johnson scoring on a shorty, just 3:15 in, on an unforced turnover. And then Ludwig Tellstrom, he scores at 10:55. To the credit of the Dashers, they held off any additional scoring in that opening period. Cantor looked like he was trying to get comfortable, but in the second period, it just all came undone. 5 goals for the Prowlers in that second period. Now, the scoring started with Thomas Murphy scoring just 17 seconds in. And so that made it 2-1 at that point, and that was the only time you really heard the crowd last night. Yes, it was a small crowd. Again, weather related. 4:56 coming. A lot of people saying I wanted to be there. I saw a lot of comments on Facebook. I wanted to be there, but I couldn't make it. Just too cruddy weather outside. So anyway, oh, by the way, yeah, goalie for the Prowlers was Yoshi Kuriowa. I believe this was only his second start this year. And he played well, especially in the second period, because the Dashers did get 16 shots on goal. However, Port Huron got 21, and in addition to the 20 shots in the first period. So we have Ben Brockway scoring at 1:45. We have Stefan Deasy scoring at 2:01. We have Tristan Sims scoring on the power play at 2:59. Bam! It's 5-1, just like that. Wait, there's more. Brett, the hitman Lockhart, scores at 9:39. Eli Bowers comes in to spell Tristan Cantor. Brian Parsons adds a goal at 19:37. So at the end of 2, it's already 7-1. In the third period, it's Tucker Scantlebury and Reggie Millette getting on the board. And yeah, again, just a painful game to watch. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but yeah, this was not the start that Steven so wanted. Not the start that Danville wanted, not the start that the Dashers organization wanted. But there you go. So Port Huron is now 13, 12, and 3. The Dashers now on a 21 game losing streak, 3, and they tie the Battle Creek Grumblebees. Ironically, if the losing streak were to continue, they would tie the all-time record set by the Delaware Thunder in Topeka for the Scarecrow versus Roadrunners games. So, Tristan Canner, I think that's going to be his claim to fame. He was Travis Ridgen's backup in Summit City for the APHL. 456 on hand. So there you go. That is that. Kind of a sad way to end this podcast, but what are you going to do? All right, so 6 games again tonight. Athens and Baton Rouge will be idle. Their game, they were supposed to have a game last night. It was canceled because of the bad weather. Baton Rouge had a long trip to get back home, and Athens wanted to make that possible. The game is rescheduled for March 30th. So that is set, and there we go. That is our weekly or our weekend wrap up for the Friday games. We'll be back tomorrow to cover tonight's games. So join me again tomorrow. I appreciate all the, my goodness, with all the craziness going on, all the new news. I had about 150 new followers this week. Thank you to all of you. Appreciate it, and welcome to the Fed League Flash community. I'll do my best to keep you up to date on everything going on in the FPHL, or at least most of the stuff going on in the FPHL. All right. Have yourselves a wonderful weekend. Be safe out there, and we will catch you again very, very soon.